Greetings, I'm Barrett, and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing a full Kickstarter pledge unboxing of Burncycle by Chip Theory Games. For those of you who don't know, I live in Minnesota, so they're just right down the road from me in Plymouth, Minnesota, which isn't very far, which is pretty cool that a studio is actually really close to me. It's kind of neat. This, though, is a full Kickstarter pledge, and I would like to thank Colin from the One Stop Co-op Shop for allowing me to do a full unboxing of this. For those of you that don't know, he lives very close to me as well, so we work together when it comes to Kickstarters, and this is his all-in unboxing pledge. But I will also be doing a playthrough of this because I'm super excited for this game. I'm going to be going through each one of these things. We've got this neat bag to look at. These are going to be some dice. We also have the 404th that we're going to be taking a look at. We have our Brass Mag Miniatures expansion that is going to be open. We have our Specialist expansion. We also have the BioFend expansion, and then the core game, as well as our playmat that we're going to be unboxing as well. We'll, I think, start with this when we do our unboxing and do the rest of it on top of it, which would be pretty cool. So if you're excited to see what is inside Burncycle and everything else that was part of the Kickstarter, then I need you to meet me at the table. This is one side of the playmat. I apologize for my voice. I'm not feeling the greatest right now, but I'm going to continue with this unboxing because I'm pretty excited for this game. We have these neat little art that's going on inside. Now, this is a fully kind of just plain playmat where you can put all the different components on this side of the playmat, but the other side is built for 4 players and has everything where you're supposed to place it. This is where your floor mat would go, and even says everything. Command module mat is going to go here. We have our threat card up here. We have our network mat over here, and then we have a spot for 4 different players. The other 2 are down here. So this is really cool that they're actually able to incorporate the entire game on top of this mat and shows you everything you need to do. I'll probably always be playing on this side because this side's pretty awesome. With the playmat out of the way, let's take a look at the actual core box of Burncycle. I'm really excited to dig into this because if you know anything about Chip Theory Games, their production value is unmatched. They have unbelievable production value. We do have this bag. This is where we're going to be drawing our tokens from, but our Kickstarter did come with this neat big bag here. So let's take a look at this, since that's about the component we're looking at right now. Make a lot of noise with the crinkling paper there, but this is a really way better bag. This is a way better bag. It's really neat. It's got a deep pocket in it, so you can actually stand it up and dig into it if you want to. This is the bag that the game actually comes with. We also have their production catalog that shows all the different games Chip Theory Games has. For those of you that don't know, some of the big ones they have is, of course, our Too Many Bones and Cloud Spire. Those are 2 of their big games, and this is now their 3rd iteration of one of the bigger games that they have. We have some of our instruction booklets and our floor plan. We also have a rules reference, so we're going to, and a learn how to play. So very similar, I believe, to how Fantasy Flight does it. You have a learn to play, and then any kind of rules that you need to look for are going to be found in this book here, and it was going to go through each one of them, or basically read this from front to back. That'd probably help you out as well, so you'll know everything that's going to be going on inside this game. But if you had to know what about a corporation marker, what does it do? It shows you here, and it also says corporation turn, page 15, charging floors on page 18. So it does tell you what other sections to go to that may have to do with that particular rule, which is really helpful. And of course, we have a floor plan and our learn to play guide that's going to have all the different, it's going to go through all the components, and then it's going to go step by step, I believe, how to play through a game, which is really cool. It shows exactly everything you're going to have to do, and it walks you through all the different parts, which is very, very helpful. And our floor plan book is going to show all the different floor plans for the corporations we're going to be going against. And of course, we'll see if we can actually make it through it. That's going to be our goal. We'll see how it goes. We'll set these books aside and continue. Next comes some Chip Theory Games famous mats, these neoprene mats. This is our command module map. You're going to place down the card of one of the bots we're not using. It's going to be kind of the command module. He's going to be in charge of the mission. We're going to place down other tokens and things here on this to help things go. I'm going to start placing this stuff out on the mat so that when we're all said and done, we can see how this looks, which would be pretty cool. Next, we have our floor plans. These are a whole bunch of different neoprene mats that are going to be based on the scenario or the corporation we're going to be going against. They're going to be the different rooms and things we can go inside. And there are an absolute ton of them, and they're all going to be able to fit nicely inside of this little compartment here. So we'll place these aside, but just look at all these neat little ones. There's this one right here. It looks like we have all these, and there's of course different icons on here that are going to be allowing you to trigger different events or different things that you can do on the mat itself. There's, oh my goodness, look at these. These look really cool. This looks like could be a bathroom, or not a bathroom, there's like a computer console room. We also have, I don't know, I honestly have no idea what some of these are. Oh, it even says in here, maybe if I read them, we have a utility. I could just read what they say. So this is the break room. This isn't a bathroom, it's a break room. Maybe if I do some reading, that might work. We have the dynamo here, which is pretty neat. So there's a whole bunch of these in here, and we'll be seeing what each one of these, as we play them out on the mat, we'll see how they all look. I do want to mention that on these mats, even though you're seeing all these different icons on here, not all of them are used during your mission. It'll all be based on a specific mission that you're doing inside that corporation. Next, it looks like we have our trackers here. This is going to be, I'll have to take these out. These tracks on the threat card are going to be going up and down based on actions you've done in the game. Also, it'll do that near the end of the round. You're going to be moving them down based on player count, I believe, or something of that nature. There is usually an easy side and a harder side for these. So as you can see, there's more writing on some of these. So I believe these are the harder side of the threat count track here. We're going to place these out depending on what corporation you're going to be playing with. We'll just throw one right over here onto the board to make it look cool when we get it all set up. Next, we have all of our different agent mats. This is a 4-player game, so there's 4 different mats here. You're going to place your bot in the middle here. Then you have all these different tracks that we're going to be using during the game, starting with power. We also have advanced and elite here. We also have our universal actions, and then we're going to be able to place some dice down here. We have places for chips as well, and some other areas that we can put in some of our little tokens here. And those are found right here. Each person is going to get a color. So we have green, we also have blue, we also have yellow, we have red, and we have purple. These are probably actually going to signify the different tracks, I'm guessing. That'd be more probably what they're for. So I'm guessing blue ones, yellow ones, red ones. I could be wrong about that. We'll see how this all plays out. But I'm going to place these out onto our player mat, or our big, huge, giant play mat, I should say, so you can see how this all looks when it's done. And these are player specific to a point. There does go with the orange one. There are some universal ones for the command module. We also have ones for our ping, and then some of the green ones are used for our doors as well. Next, we have our dice trays. There are a lot of dice trays in here. I believe they're going to use these for, I believe, expansions coming, or maybe expansions already have. That we'll be able to add even more dice as this game grows. Let's take a look at some of these dice. Here, as a look at them, we have our action dice here, along with some of our Burncycle dice, which is over here. These are our surveillance dice. We have equipment dice here, which is pretty cool. So as you gain equipment, you're going to get dice for each one of those equipment you get based on what it is. And you'll really roll this to see, I guess, how it works, which is pretty awesome. We have a ping die over here. This is going to be our, what is this? It could be our, this could be, oh, this is our CEO die, I bet. And this is our ping die over here. There's so many different dice. It's really, really cool. We have, again, there's like so many different types of dice. It's actually awesome. Not to mention, there's still some more over here, which are more equipment dice. So there's a lot of different dice. We'll see how all these work during the playthrough. Down here we have some more door pegs. We'll see how those work during the playthrough. Also, maybe I'll try to get some onto our board as we build them here. And it looks like we have all these big cards. We also have some cards over here, which is pretty awesome. Check this out. They gave me an actual card holder tray inside the box. I might use it for a whole bunch of different games because this is an amazing looking card holder. I need to get some card holders like this because this looks really cool. It holds all different things. And it even tells you where to put them. This is our keypad one. It goes in there. Now, I will say that these are pretty tight, so I don't believe you can put any sleeved cards in here. But if you remember, Chip Theory Games makes their cards very unique. They actually don't need to be sleeved as far as I can understand. I think they're made with PCV or something, I believe. They don't use real cardstock. They use almost like a waterproof cardstock if you wish to, which is really cool how Chip Theory Games does it. And I believe they did it for this game as well. They did, yep, I can feel it right here. It is a really well done cardstock, so I don't think you'd ever need to sleeve these. I guess you could if you want to, but they're not your normal type of cards, which is really cool how Chip Theory Games does it. So we'll put this aside. There's a whole bunch of different cards. We'll go through them later, but I just wanted to show you the card thing because that's awesome. And of course, we have these big cards as well. These bigger cards are made of the same type of material, and these are all the different objectives that you're going to be trying to go for. So there's a ton of replay value in here. Look at all the different objectives that you can do for each of the different factions that we have. There's 3 different factions, and look at the mountain of stuff you can do. And it tells you everything you're going to have to do for setup, I believe, and then it tells you all the different rules, and then it's going to tell you how you're supposed to be able to beat it. And of course, up here it tells you the length of the floor and complexity. So the farther down you go, I'm sure the more complex it gets. Length 3 floors and is a 1 complexity. This is 3 floors and 2 complexity. Hopefully, we might just stick with a 1 floor, 1 complexity just to see how the game plays. It'll be pretty awesome. So those are all the different, the objective cards that you're going to get. So we'll put one of those out so we can see how it goes when it's all said and done here. On top of that, we have our bots. There should be, I believe, about 10 different bots, and each one is different. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses, and are able to do different things while they go through the board. Here's just some pictures of them. I don't know exactly everything that's going on these cards, but we shall see how it all works during the playthrough. After we look at all the different different 10 bots. Now remember, you're going to use one of these is going to be your command module person. He's going to be in charge. And the other ones are all going to be the ones going around inside the corporation. We also have, these are going to be these are like the main bad guy people, I believe, of how I understand this. So then there's a whole different, there's what, 5 of these guys as well. And they're going to activate and try to get you as well. And each of them do have their special powers and are able to do different things when they come in contact with some of your bots. And I love the fact that they use real words about this stuff, like malware, which is pretty cool, code upgrade, doom scrolling, which is pretty sweet. I love how they actually incorporate like real terms that have to do with like actual computer type things inside this game, which is pretty neat. So we'll place all these out. We'll place these out and about on different places so you can see how it all looks. We have different beads in the box. These are going to be used to track different things on the game board, or not necessarily the game board, all the different like components that we have. For example, one of them would actually be going onto this track over here, and it would count down through here as we go. We just slide this around on here to show us where we are on that track. And there's a lot of other things going to be used track-wise on what we're going to use these beads for. And of course, it wouldn't be Chip Theory games unless we had a bunch of chips, but let's take a look at this one first. I believe this is our network one. This is our network mat, I should say. It goes down on the board. It'll actually be going right over here, which is pretty cool. On this, you're going to be placing your CEO die, and then you're going to be placing the dice based on how many characters you have. On top of this mat, you're going to place them here. You have network dice. And then once you get the network dice you have, you're also going to place one of your pegs inside one of these areas here. And you're going to move this around on the network to potentially get to different places and be able to do different things, is my guess. We'll place this right over here on the mat so we can take a look at it when it's all done. Now let's get to those chips. These are going to be pretty cool. We got 2 big, huge sets of chips, and there is room for expansion, as you can tell inside of this one right here. So let's break these open and see what we get. The first thing we have is our chips for all of our different bots. For example, this one is transmitter, and then it has its awareness chip as well. So each bot has that except for one. One actually has a little extra companion here called Joan, which is right there. So we have 10 of each of those, and those are going to go in one of our slots. If we ever destroy any walls, we have chips for those. Those are also going to go into one of our trays, and it does actually mention that if you might actually get expansion characters. So look at how much expansion they're thinking of. They said to actually leave that much room, which is kind of out of control because this thing's just going to fly around. But that's pretty awesome. Next, we'll take our action chips. They are divided into purple, blue, green, black, and then there's this pink one as well. The purple are physical actions if you wish to do those. The blue ones are going to be utility actions. The green ones are tech actions. And our last ones that don't actually have anything on them are general action. Of course, they are dual-sided. I forgot to mention that. So I believe you're going to turn them over when you do the action because it kind of shows them as a faded action. I could be wrong about that. And our last one we have is going to be our captain. Our captain is also going to take an action as well. Remember, I showed you some of the pictures of some of those captains. They also have their own chips as well. They are found right here. All the captains have their own chips with their own stats, and it says a little bit about, and of course there's special abilities that you can look up as you're doing it, and each one is a little bit different and will react a little bit different, I believe, is how this is going to work. So that's pretty cool. There's all these different captains that we can play against. There are 3 CEOs right here. We have all of them right here. We're going to put those into the, I believe, the network mat. And they do have something on the back that is going to probably take effect during the game. We'll see how that all takes place. Maybe it's found on the threat track. I'm not exactly sure. We'll see how it works. There's also a corporation marker. I believe this kind of symbolizes a first player token of some kind. Then we have level 1, 2, and 3 guard chips. These are cool because they're going to come out on the board. They have, of course, their stats here, and this is going to be their potential AI type instructions that they're going to follow. For this one, or actually, let's see if we can find one here. This one, for example, is going to move in a straight line until it hits the wall, and it's going to turn around and go back, or until it bumps into something, then it completely turns around and goes the other way. We have this bulldog. This means it's going to be stationary. So each one of these different guard chips are going to react differently. There's level 1s. There's also level 2s, which are going to be, of course, more powerful and probably have more AI instructions on them, or they're going to do different things based on what they are. We have 2, and then we have level 3 as well. And 3, I'm sure, is probably going to be the hardest ones. I'm sure we don't want to follow level 3s. That'd be probably really bad. Like, for example, that one might be a ghost towards any kind of character. I'm not sure, though. We'll see how it all plays out here in the future. Next, we have our cache and key chips. There's these right here. We're going to place these down on the board. So these are caches and these are keys, and we'll be able to find those in the game as we're playing through it. And the last thing we have is our terminal and mainframe. Remember all those different parts of the map that I said you sometimes put things on and sometimes you don't? That's what these are. So if we have terminals and we have mainframes, we'll place these out depending on the certain scenario we're playing. And of course, the last thing we have is our giant mat here that is going to be the board that we're going to be placing all of our characters on, which is pretty sweet. And Once we get this down, I'm going to show you what the entire board looks like when it's all set up. But here's the board. It has, I believe, 2 different sides. Yes, it does. It is dual-sided based on, I believe, the mission will tell you which side you're going to do. So that is what's in the base box minus the cards. Let's take a look at some of those. We have a set of small cards, which are keypad cards. These keypad cards are cards that represent the input panel on a locked door. And each of these locked doors are protected with a keypad that must be resolved in order to unlock it. So we'll have to figure out how to get through each one of these different keypads. And each one is completely different. You're never going to know what you do. But of course, once you get through it, then you can discard it and continue on. There are mod cards. These are going to improve your character based on what they pick up. For example, you get a cannon arm. Your agent may take a strike action against a guard or walls that are up to 4 spaces away. So you can get these onto your character's safe hack each time your agent takes a terminal action and may select 1 additional terminal option. So there's some cool things that you can gain as you play through the game when it comes to mods. On top of that, we also have equipment cards that are going to be able to assist you as well. For example, this one says immediately discard this card and collect a key from the supply and place in your inventory. I believe that means you're going to grab one of these cool dice, because some of these items have dice that are associated with them. So you're going to grab that out of the supply and place it into your character area, I believe, is what you're going to do. And then, of course, when you use it, you're just going to roll it up and see what happens, which is kind of cool. It's very chip theory-ish. There's a whole bunch of different items that you can pick up from, I believe, there's going to be from all the different caches that might be out on the board. So there's those. Next, we have these network cards. These are going to be found as you're moving around inside the network. You're going to be able to flip one of these over at some type of point during the game, and you'll find something out here. For example, discover a virtual terminal. And this is going to have to do with part of the board. There actually is this symbol on the board, so I'm sure that is where you're able to take place. You draw a terminal card and resolve 1 option on it at no AP cost, which is pretty awesome because the next set of cards I'm going to show you are the terminal cards. In the game, you're going to find certain terminals throughout the game, and you're going to interact with those. And when you do, you're going to be able to draw one of these terminal cards. When you draw one of the terminal cards, you're able to do one of these actions based on the action points you want to spend, unless, of course, you had that card I just showed you, which is pretty cool. Impersonate a customer service. Their support decrease the CEO's network level by 2, which could be good for you. System lockdown protocol, unlock the door of your choice. Or optimize planned obsolescence. Until the Burncycle reboots, agents may choose which active Burncycle chip to downgrade on their turn instead of rolling a die. So we'll see how that plays out during the playthrough. But there's a lot of terminal cards, which is pretty cool. So we'll see what happens when we interact with these terminals. Lastly, there's these player reference cards. They're going to tell you everything you do during a player turn, a corporation turn, and then it shows you back here what exactly you can do, I believe, with the different actions that you have available to you. After all is said and done, here is the board. Like I said, it is really cool looking. There's a lot of really neat aesthetics going on in this game. And this, I will tell you right now, is not set up in any way possible like any of the corporations you're supposed to play as. I just randomly threw some stuff out on the board just so you can see what it all looks like when it's all said and done. I think this game looks really cool. I'm excited to dig into this. And again, I don't know if everything is where it's supposed to be placed according to how you're actually supposed to set up. We'll see how that goes during a setup video. But this is really cool. This is awesome. I'm excited for how the playmat works and where you're supposed to place everything. It really is neat that it talks you through all the different places to put cards and the playmats and where to actually put the board and how it all looks when it's all set up. Let's go ahead and look at all the rest of the stuff that comes with this Kickstarter. Next, let's take a look at one of the expansions. We're going to get the Bio Defend expansion. This is one of the new corporations here. It's going to come with everything you need to play with this. And on top of this, I believe this is ready to go into the box that you get, the core box. I believe there's extra spots for dice, and all these cards will be able to fit in there just right. And there's even some room for some of those chips as well. So let's dig through this and let's see what we can come up with. Oh, here is our threat card right here. This is pretty neat. And of course, it has a regular and easy side, if I remember right. On top of that, it does come with some really cool looking new mats. We have some of, what is this? This is the control room here. We have some extra cards. One of them are imperative cards. Now, sadly, I failed to talk about the imperative cards. I put a note in the video, so we're going to talk about them right now. These are cards that apply to unique limitations or conditions to a player agent. When you get to a certain point, you're going to have to draw one of these imperative cards, and you have to deal with it. For example, here's one right here. This one says fast fingers. The next time your agent collects a cachet during the movement action, you may not take any further actions during that turn. So these are most of the time detrimental to what you're doing. You don't want to be drawing these from what I understand. Here's yet again another one really quick. Bot profile scan. The next time your agent becomes detected during a move action, they must end their current action. Again, ending actions is probably absolutely devastating. So there's going to be even more that you're going to find inside this. And I believe you could just mix these right in. These are the base box, and these are the ones from the Defend expansion. I believe you can just mix these all together just to add more variety to the game. On top of that, we do have more equipment that we're going to have access to here. And there are some of these dice that are going to come with it that are going to be part of this equipment deck. And we're not only going to have equipment, we're going to have some new mods as well. And like I said, I believe you can shuffle these into the base game, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check on that as we play. This also has all the missions you're going to get with the Defend expansion. There's a ton of them. And we have 2 new captains we have to deal with, and of course a new CEO. And there are, of course, their little chips for those as well. Just a quick look at some of the neoprene mats. Like I said before, this was the control room. This one looks pretty awesome. And check this one out. This one is huge. This is going to take up a whole part of the board. This is pretty awesome. This is, let's see if I can find the name of it, right over here. R&D, research and development. That makes total sense. Look at all the stuff going on in there. And that's really going to be a bit about all there is for this expansion. Let's move on. I think we're going to check out our specialist expansion. Our specialist expansion is a small box that comes with just 4 chips. I believe these are going to be 2 playable characters for our team here if we want to. We have, what is it, Firewall and something else. Let's see if we can get these guys out of the box. We'll have to try to dig these out. There we go. Looks like there's 4. There's Firewall, Servo, Gyro, and we also have Subordinating. And here's the chips that go for each one of those groups. Let's see if I can drop them out. Yep. So each one's going to come with an awareness chip and, of course, their character chip as well. So we'll place those all back in there, and that's really it. That was all that's going to be in here. But look at that, 4 more characters. And remember, there's expansions inside of those chip trays, so we'll have an ability to put all these chips right in there without any problem. Then we have the 404th, which is pretty awesome because I'm sure it refers to a few other things. And one of the references is probably similar to the 501st from Star Wars. And of course, the 405th being also based on the 404 from the internet. I think it believes like a domain that doesn't exist, if I remember it, or something to that concept. So inside here is really just a lot of dossiers and a lot of different components that have to do with story elements that go along with it. Now, of course, this isn't a campaign game, but it does have a lot of different backgrounds and different facts about each of the different corporations and all the different things that went into making this game. There's a lot of art and art books in here from what I understand. So I'll be really excited to read through these things and really get down to what this game is all about. Of course, you can always play the game and just enjoy it without having to read any of this stuff. But look at all these books that they've put time and effort into actually writing about, which is pretty neat. And I'm just going through each one of them really quick so you can take a look and see what you think of each of these. Like I said, there's all different ones from the corporations. There's also Dead Lunar Alpha. I'm not exactly sure what this is. We'll see how that goes. Oh, and look at this. There's even this big thing here. We're going to take a look at this here. Let's take this out and look. All of these are artworks that are double-sided. And it's all in that same type of format when it comes to the component that they use for all their different cards. Really big, thick stock stuff, which is really neat. So you can hang these all around your house. You can frame them and do whatever you want with these. There's some artwork there. And then I can't believe there's a cassette tape. Yes, I know what cassette tapes are with all my old, we used to do the like mixes on these. You used to sit next to your Walkman or your boombox with your record button ready to go. So when the radio played it, you would actually record it and be able to have the music for yourself. You listen to it in your car, in your tape deck, which is pretty sweet. Of course, I don't have a tape deck anymore, so I don't know how I'm ever going to listen to this, but I'm sure there's something really cool on this, so I might have to try to get it. Let's see. Here's some things here. Party long. What is a sad world? Studio Crudo, Passion to the Trees. Okay, so there's some awesome thing. I have to try to find a tape deck now. Listen, I'm sure that's going to be amazing. And then we'll see what this is right here. I have a feeling I don't have to go find a tape deck. I think they gave me one. This is awesome. Oh my gosh, they did. Look at this. This is so good. This is probably one of the best parts of the entire game. I am going to go get this. I'm going to put my Walkman on. I am going to go take a jog around the lake, because I can just reminisce the old days. This hangs on your belt loop and you can go jogging, you can walk, you can do whatever you want. Since it's called a Walkman, I'd probably walk, that'd be the deal. Oh, here's the... It gave you a way to work a cassette tape, in case you don't know. That's absolutely amazing. I'm sure there are some people out there that have never seen a cassette deck before, let alone a Walkman, which is absolutely awesome. Okay, that was one of the highlights of this entire thing, was getting a Walkman with a tape. I mean, I'm just going to take these out. We're going to listen to them right now. This is pretty sweet. Okay, that made my day. That was totally awesome. Here's the deal though. You don't actually have to have headphone jacks or anything. This is actually a speaker. It will actually play out of there when you decide to listen to it. So that is all that's inside the 404th here. We'll put all of our books away, and we only have one thing left, and I've actually been saving one of the best for last. I'm pretty excited for the next part. The last one I have to open is the Brass Mag Miniatures expansion. I guess I also have an extra dice pack as well. I'll get that real quick. In that small box was a set of action dice that I can add to the dice trays that I have. There's an extra one that was picked up. We're going to the Brass Mag Miniatures expansion. This is going to be really super cool. So I don't ever have to paint these. These are absolutely amazing. These are super, super cool. So these right here are miniatures for the game if you wish to use them. Of course, Chip Theory prides themselves on their poker chips, but of course over the years people wouldn't mind seeing some miniatures along with their games. So they did make these types of miniatures here. Oh, I can't even talk. These are super awesome. So there's ones for some of the characters. There's also some for the enemies as well. I want to take out this one. I'm just going to show you how this works. I don't know what goes with what, and it's not the point. The point is that, oh my gosh, these are in here really tight. We'll try a different person. We'll try this person. This person looks pretty easy to get out. Now, first off, these are metal, which is pretty sweet. They're not even made of plastic. Oh my God, they're really, really tough. Now, this is not the chip for them, but they did design these chips specifically for this. So I can put them right on the chip. How cool is that? Now, of course, this is not the monster for this chip, but you can put that right on there. It doesn't cover up any of the markings on it. If I can pull out another one, we'll see if I can do that. Oh my gosh, these are so hard to get out of the box. I think I might just take these all out and never have to put them back again, because I don't know, I'm like cutting myself trying to get these out of here. This is ridiculous. Okay, I can't get that one out without really struggling. But most of them are just going to be able to fit right on there, and they shouldn't cover up any of the names or what they do or any of the symbols on the chip if you don't want them to. Of course, they can be anywhere on this chip. This chip is completely magnetic. It has a metal inside of it, which is pretty sweet. And it can even go on the other side of it as well, though I don't know why you'd want to do that. But these are super cool, and here is all of the different ones that you can have. I'm not going to pull them out because I can't actually pick them out of the box without hurting myself. I will get to them at some point. I will just obviously just take these all out slowly, but I'm not going to do it on camera because it's going to hurt. And all of these are exactly the same up here. So that is, I don't know if anything beats that. That is super cool. I am not putting those all the way back in there because I'll never get them out again. I'm just going to set them in there nicely. And that is the Burncycle Brass Mag Miniature Expansion. How cool was that? There you have it. That is a full Kickstarter unboxing pledge of Burncycle by Chip Theory Games. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when the playthrough for Burncycle comes out as well. Yes, I'll be doing a playthrough of this very, very soon. Thank you for calling at the One Stop Co-op Shop for giving me a chance to unbox this, but you're not getting it back. I want to do a playthrough. So I'm going to do a playthrough of this really quick and then send it back over to him. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please feel free to join the Patreon. The link to that is in the Kickstarter below. In that, you'll be able to choose, for example, what characters we'll be using in our Burncycle playthrough, along with some of the other playthroughs that come through. On top of that, you can help me decide what games and also what we paint during some of our live playthroughs and live paints as well. There's some really great things happening at Meet Me at the Table. Please be part of it by joining the Patreon, and the link is in the description below. That's all I've got. Thank you so much for watching the Burncycle unboxing. I'm excited to get to this table, and if you're excited to see this, then I need you to meet me at the table.